Since the beginning of time, human civilizations just thrived on on telling stories. We've always passed on all of our important values, all our important ideas, all through stories. We live and breathe stories everywhere. It's an essential part of the human experience. Just like it says in Christian and Jewish scriptures, man can't live on bread alone. We aren't just chemical machines, require input and output and daily biological functions. It's something else. We need that beauty, we need transcendence, we need a story to connect us, to each other, to divine, and all that. We have to have stories. But in the process of collecting all these stories, we've kind of guarded up the classics in a way that keeps them from people. They're not always accessible. They've been analyzed and scrutinized to death until some people don't feel like they can approach it. That's why I've created Ethnos Media, to make those types of stories, but make them accessible to everyone, all across the globe, every language, every people group, representing all traditions, but in a way that is accessible. People can get to it and understand it, and don't feel like it's being broken down so much that there's nothing left to experience. There's no more beauty left in the story. Because in the end, what's the difference between somebody who lives in New York versus Iran? They're still human, they still need stories, and there's so much we can learn from each other. If you're in Japan and somebody else is in Colombia, there's a lot of cultural differences and stories we can share that really just help us experience that transcendent beauty, that transcendent, there is something else out there, there's something else that makes us human besides just math and science, and those are fine. So I'm not saying we stop and reading classics or anything like that, but we need something else that gives us accessible, meaningful stories. This Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao." In other words, you can't always break things down into words. You can't always break things down into analysis. That's why we need every form of art. So journalism, the written word, those are really good, but there's so much more that can be said in a painting or in architecture. Just walking into a room creates a whole different dimension of meaning and beauty and things like that. A song can express things that a painting cannot. That's why we need everything. So Ethnos is all, we have theater people and gardeners and cooks and film and fiction and poetry and photography, everything. Bringing all of those together because they all have an important part to say, and we can't focus on just one or the other if we're truly going to learn about each other. And with that diversity of art, we want to have a diversity of experience all across the world. So the streets of Mumbai to London, Asia and Africa. We'll go to Antarctica and talk to the penguins, tell them their stories. Wherever, everywhere, want to tell these stories to everyone, be able to get them to everyone, and that everyone can put in. So that's what Ethnos Media staff is all across the planet, tons of different time zones, lots of different cultural backgrounds, because our diversity is our strength, and that becomes our unity. We are one in telling stories and one in being human. So August 1st, we're going to launch our website. Our theme is going to be beginnings, just both to celebrate the beginning of our story, but also the beginning of so many other stories. No story can start without a good, solid beginning. So we want to recognize all those beginnings that have come before us, that have led up to our beginning, and really celebrate those, celebrate that life. If one was if you're going to visualize Ethnos, kind of imagine a world of access where people can, from every language, every tradition, every religion, every country can come together, share those stories, learn from stories from other people in every medium, internet, video, broadcast, radio, experiencing those every way that they can. Being able to access those stories, and then a business that is able to pay artists a steady paycheck without turning them into an art mill with tons and tons of deadlines. A world where we have socially responsible companies or small businesses offering advertisements, but not in an aggravating way, in a way that's responsible and important, but not overdone. And just a world of beauty where we share just the things that make us human, the things that define who we are, and the stories that shape our lives and shape how we live. I think that's really the story worth telling. That's what we want to do.